Hello guys and welcome back, and I suppose when you're looking at this location you know it's going to be a reveal of another vehicle. Now I'm not going to say this is a project or my car, but one of my customers has asked me, he's asked us, but I've said to him I'll find a good home for this car for you. And just last night and today I've used the car and it's absolutely bloody fantastic, and I'm not joking you. I'm this close. I've got first chance of it at the absolute rock bottom price. You may remember back my Jeep, my Cherokee, my 3.7 V6, the black one. That was the guy. This is the same guy I bought that off, and he bought the S80, my S80. He bought it, then I just recently sold it. You seen it when I had it on the channel, and he's bought this car, and there's a story behind it. It needs a bit too much work to what he's willing to put into for the MOT, but it is by far not a vehicle that is going to get scrapped, not by any means. And I am very specific about who I'm selling this car to, because one thing I do not want is the engine being ripped out of it and put into some Corsa or like my Astra van. This car needs to be saved. It doesn't need much work. So anyways, got me little pal with us here today, Charlie. He had to come out in a Saab because it's one of the... he's been in them years ago when he was a bit younger, but now he fully understands what they are. He asks the question about the key, why the keys. Anyways, we're going to get into that now. We may as well do the reveal. There we go. It's minging, but it is absolutely spotless, this car. Saab 93, W reg, year 2000. But the big important thing's what's under the bonnet on this. But mainly, I cannot believe the condition of this car. There's not hardly a single mark, dent, bit of rust, nothing. We think these arches have been redone. I'm still not 100%. You know, they look pretty original to me. And trust us, these are normally absolutely hanging to bits, worse than an Astra. You know, like I showed you with my van. The back arches on these are normally as bad as my silver Astra at the garage. But yeah, it is just glorious. I love this black rubber spoiler. And again, they are the 3-door ones of these 93s are just like rare's hen's teeth these days. You just can't get hold of them. And this has got like the body kit on along the bottom. It's just classed as an S, but we're going to get to that. Whether or not these wheels are original or not, they're dirty. The BBS Saab Scania alloy wheels, they are so original. And if they're not original to this car, they're worth a little bit of money. In you know, respect, they need a bit of a refurb, but they're there and they exist and they're worth something. But we'll just have another look around this car again. I'm picking up on the usual little things. Bosch white bass, somebody's cared for it. I love that little sculpted piece on the high level stop lamp, and I like this as well, the ridge pattern in the glass to stop the sun on hot days from getting on the back of the heads of the backseat passengers. It's just great. And again, just the little things on the windows. I don't know if you can see that for the reflection, but the Saab showing you that the windows have got special heat retardant, a skin within it, like a windscreen, like a tint to them. So obviously it stops as much heat, showing you stopping as much UV and heat getting in. Just little things like that, what I love with Saabs. We'll go around, we'll look. Headlight wiper moment. We're going to have to get Charlie to demonstrate that for in a moment. Once I've done the video, we'll have a headlight wiper moment. Better than a headlight washer moment. And I don't even know if they work, so we will find out. Funky plates on it. Probably not classed as 100% legal now for the AMPR, but who cares? The badge probably could be. There's loads of these out there. I need the badge looked at. But again, fun fog lamp version. Headlamp washer, bit of an odd spec, I'll get to that in a minute, on the inside, but it is just absolutely, apart from being dirty, immaculate. These back arches are just like nothing else I've ever seen. They are great. Stepping through this mud, guys. The boot wasn't open before. I think I've got to press the button on the door or something. Let's have a look. That's the only damage on the whole car. Whether or not it's obviously been parked in a garage or something, where it's knocked up against the... We'll press this. I'm not sure there's something you do with that. Oh, there we go. Just had to press that button to unlock it. And the size of that boot. And what I will say, the spare wheel well is absolutely immaculate. No rust or nothing. And what I'm going to attempt to do here is show you underneath. But I love that, the old badge, Saab, Scania. I love that. And you know their trucks, don't you, Charlie?
Yeah.
There's a Scania truck company in conjunction with Saab back in the day. I'm going to attempt to put this under here because I can't kneel down. We'll get a look at that spare wheel well. I'll put the exhaust, I'm getting to that shortly as well. But that is in such good nick. Trust us for one of these. But I am going to get to that now, and then I'll show you the interior. Unfortunately, of how good this car looks, there's a few little holes on the floor pan. It's hard to explain. There's rubber grommets, little, no much bigger than that, rubber grommets on the floor pan. Now these are based on an old Vectra, roughly based on like a Vectra B, as we know them, the Vectra Bs. In Mark III Astras were the same. They have. I'll try and get underneath. You'll have to excuse us if you can't see. I'm just going to see if I can get the camera to focus in. There, can you see that little rubber grommet there? There'll probably be a one there. Now, they were a stupid idea from new. They're a hole already cut in the floor, and then a rubber grommet in it, and water gets in and basically makes the hole bigger. So a hole that's already there from the factory gets bigger. But unfortunately, that's classed as corrosion for an MOT. So there's a few of them little rubber bungs, which basically you just need to just cut a hole out and weld them in. And the back exhaust box is blown on the joint between the centre and the rear. So really it's going to need a centre and a rear box. And the only other issue it's got, which you'll have just seen them cans in the back, is there's a power leak, not major, of the loop that goes through there. You can see a load of leaves and debris in there. That's the big intercooler down there. And you may just see there's a couple of drops just there and there. I mean, it's not horrendous, but sort of every once a week you just need to top it up with like sort of like, you know, like that much in the can in the reservoir. So yeah, so that's it really. That's the only thing stopping it from getting a full MOT. Those few little dots of weld on those grommets. And exhaust, probably not worth messing with that. I would get an aftermarket second-hand stainless steel system for it. That would make it just great. And that power steering. But if you weren't wanting to spend a lot of money, you can just loop those. So all you need to do is just loop them. In this country, it's rarely you're going to overheat the power steering system. But anyways, let's get to the business end of this Saab and what's so important about it. Well, first up, I'll take you in the car. Quickly, we'll just have a look. I'll just put you on the dash. Obviously, with your typical Saab, got your key in the centre. Love that. But right there, guys, I don't know if you can see that. 63,000 mile. Now, on some normal Saabs, that's not a big deal. Like a normal 2 litre one. Or a 1.8 or something. But this, to say it's just an S-spec car, this one. You've got your B204. And the B204 is the red top engine that you want. Now get a look at this. Yes, I know it's got the normal bits, all like that. But that bad boy is your 2 litre B204. It's running at 150 brake horsepower, but for only one reason, is it's an automatic transmission. These engines are super, super valuable. Everybody's sticking them in little Corsas and Astras and Vectras. The main value of this car is right there. A 60,000 mile B204. They do the 205 where they're written up here, Eco Power, and they're shite. These are the ones you want, the old school ones. These engines can put out so much power on standard. I believe about 250 to 300 brake horsepower on standard engine without upgrading the internals. With this being the automatic, you can upgrade them, but you could risk damaging the automatic gearbox. But yeah, that's the bad boy. And if I was going to keep this, I can get these polished up like absolutely like mirror finish, get that powder coated black, that powder coated red. But however, that you just don't get an engine like that now, do you? There's one little bit of plastic there, and that's it. That just looks glorious. Lovely 2 litre turbo. So yeah, and normally these are leaking oil out everywhere. There's a tiny little weep there. A tiny little weep there, but that's about it. It's not much for one of these. It's like really, really good, this car. So yeah, what do you guys think of it? I absolutely love it personally. Now, we'll have a quick look on the inside. I want to show you just how good Now it's weird because you've got your headlight washers, your 2-litre turbo, which would make you think that it's got got the winter pack, but unfortunately we don't have heated seats, which is a bit of a strange one. So yeah, I'm just going to try and put these sun visors down to stop the glare of the sun on the camera. So yeah, but we've got aircon. Don't know if it works, but no heated seats. But we've got the headlamp washers. We've also got the steering wheel controls, and what we also have got as well is a fully working check-up display. No pixels gone on it, which is very unusual. And we've got the great night zone where you can turn all the dials off. Night, we obviously have to have the car running, which I will start it up in a moment. I may actually turn the car around in a second because that is really annoying on the camera. Sorry guys, I just had to turn the car around because that was really irritating, because you weren't getting a good view of the interior. So yeah, obviously we don't have the heated seats unfortunately. We've got the headlamp washers. And obviously we've got the standard dial control, which is much better than the climate on these. Climate controls are crap. We've obviously got my standard CD player radio, which works perfectly fine. Electric aerial clunks on a bit, that needs a little bit of attention. But these autos are great. We've got the sport mode, winter mode, electric windows, obviously electric central locking, which I love for a start. The ignition down there, Charlie's amazed by that. That's new to him. But I love the old Saab, going back to the aircraft bombers. If you hit it like a kind of detonator lock. Gives you a little toot as well of the horn, and then you've got your boot release there as well. It's just great. And obviously, like I've mentioned with the dashboard, we'll start it up. I'll just show you. Obviously, at night, this is all lit up as well, but if you watch the rev counter and the fuel gauge and the temperature gauge, when we hit night panel, you go into full aircraft mode. Ready? Night mode. Ready? Boom. There we go. The only thing that works is your speedo, and all you see is the dial and the lighting up to about 70 miles an hour. Everything else is blacked out, and then when you switch it back on, boom, everything comes back to life. No reason whatsoever to have that in a car, but that's just for a bit of fun, isn't it? Love it. Again, Bosch wipers. The person who's had this car has absolutely cherished it. And again, it just shows the only few things that I'm missing. Really, cruise control would have been nice. It's got the front fog pack on it as well. Obviously with the headlight leveling and dashboard illumination, electric heated mirrors. But yeah, this thing is just great. I'm going to show you some of that history shortly. In fact, I'll show you it now. It's got the proper original Saab book, which somebody has took the time to keep a hold of. Lovely having that. I'm going to sit and have a read through that tonight. And that's just reams and reams of history. It used to have a really cool plate on it, this car. WDB31. And it's got all the tax discs there. All the Saab history stamped up. It's just a real little gem, this car is. So, what we're going to do in a second is we're going to do a bit of a headlight wipe moment. But I just want to explain to you, like I said, I don't know if I got a bit excited at the beginning of the video. Basically, the guy has asked me to sell... the car for him. He says, you can have it. I've already checked it over. I brought it to the garage on, I think it was Thursday. I was going to put it in the weekly vlog, but I've kept it for a separate one. And he basically said, look, I can't afford to have that for the steering pipe for me, I'll faff on with it and either get a replacement or loop it, but it would take a lot of time for me to charge them fairly for it. Welding, I don't get involved with it. And I would prefer more specialist welder to do it than my local guy. And again, the exhaust, it's past welding. It's trying to source one. Therefore, you need somebody who's a Saab specialist to find one. I'm not going to buy two parts of the exhaust. And I'm that close to keeping it. I've got the offer of this car at its minimum offer. He would happily take it off me, which isn't a lot of money, guys. And I'm this close because I've been driving this car, and let me tell you, it is an absolute beast to drive. I'm sure it's been chipped or something because it's got more than 150 brake horsepower. Let me tell you that. I've drove it on the back roads. You might know where, like through Ponteland and Tranwell and stuff. What a hoot this car is to drive on back roads. Lovely. I'm so tempted to keep it. It's so rare being a 3-door turbo B204 with 63,000 miles. It's unbelievable. So a lot of you guys are going to call me an idiot here, I can't take it on. As you know, I've got the ML coming out of storage next week, the ZX coming out of storage in 2 or 3 weeks. I've got me Altea, I've got the van, the possible S-Type that might be coming. I can't take it on because me ZX is going to need work because it's run out of MOT and there's 2 bushes I need to do. Me ML, God knows what, once I get it out that storage yard, it could need X, Y and Z, and I need that up and running for the 31st of March for to tow the caravan. So I wouldn't have time for this or use for it. It's a 3-door. It's hard work with the kids. I'm not going to put the dogs in it. When I've got the ZX and the ML and the Altea and the van on the road, when would I have time for this? If I'm going to go to a show, it will be the ZX. I know I keep saying this every time, guys. You might say, oh, it gets boring, but I don't have the use for it. So unfortunately, what I've done, what you've seen on my Facebook channel page, I've advertised it for the guy. I told him, I said, let us know what you want for it, and I'll advertise it and see if we can get what you want. But it's not going to somebody who's going to rip the engine out and put it into a Corsa, because it is worth a fortune, that engine. I want it to go to a proper person who's going to respect what it is. Sure enough, a guy who I know, I'm not going to mention names in case he doesn't want us putting his name across YouTube, but he's a Saab specialist. He's as mad as you can get when it comes to Saabs. As you may see on the cover photo, that lovely 900 Turbo you see in the background, he's Saab mad. He's got a whole yard full of Saabs, and he's actually bought this car for an older fella who helps him out or something like that. He's in the process of doing a Saab up, but it's hard up, and he's had some absolute arseholes break into his yard and pinch all the catalytic converters off his cars, and the one this guy in particular, his car was one of the victims, and he wants it for his wife, but it has to be an auto, and this is perfect. And basically he's got all the parts lying around. He's a welder himself, so the welding's no bother. He's got a whole load of scrap Saabs and like parts cars in his yard, so you can get them power steering pipes. He's got a whole exhaust system sitting somewhere for it, and it's going to go to a good home, and that's all me and the guy who's selling it cares about. So I would like to keep it, but I know it's getting a good home, so this guy is demanded me to meet him, so to speak, joking. But I was just literally on the way home with this car, and he wanted to meet us up to look at it. So we'll see what happens. There might be a deal happens for it, but it has to go to a good home and it has to get looked after. So we shall see how it goes. I'll update you all in the next weekly vlog that follows. But for now, I just want to show you quickly around the interior, and we shall do a headlight wiper moment if they decide to work. So I just want to show you how good the interior is on this car. It would be a shame people were saying upgrade it to leather, but look at that on the driver's seat. It is absolutely immaculate. There's not even like a mark, a tear, nothing on it. Have a look in the back, look at that. Bar a rub down with a pair of rubber gloves to get like the fluff and the dust off. It's just lovely. Is that a centre armrest there? Yeah. And the ski hatch through into the boot. It's just lovely, and I love that idea as well on Saabs, just how well thought out these are, right? So you're on the passenger seat, sorry, the driver's seat. So we're sat here, and the passenger needs to get in to sit in the back. You can't reach over there. They can, but you can't. So therefore, they've put one here, so the driver can say, in you get, push it back, job done. No other car company does that. It's the little things that I just love, absolutely love with Saabs. So we'll start it up, and I'll let you hear what the exhaust's like. As you can hear, she's a bit. We'll let Charlie sit in and do a few revs, and we'll also see if we can get a wiper moment, headlight wiper moment. So do you want to jump in, Charlie? I'll just have to explain to him what he needs to do. He knows where the pedal is. Jump on the driver's seat. Right, so you know how to rev it, don't you? Not too hard though, remember? Give it a rev. Right, and we'll go up the back. Give it a rev. As you can hear, it's not, in my opinion, how a Saab should have to sound, so we'll be getting that sorted. What I need you to do now is when I tell you, pull that towards you, right? As if you're flashing the lights, but wait for a minute till I go up the front. And we'll see if we have a headlight wiper moment, right? Yes, look at that. Great. Do it again. Again. glorious. Absolutely glorious. You guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. That was actually a reference to the Blot Outdoors show there, but you know what I'm talking about when it comes to headlight wiper moment. So yeah, we're just going to leave that one there. As you can hear, Ash is there putting away. Don't rev no more while I'm on videos. So just while it's running there, please guys, let us know your thoughts. Do you think I'm a complete idiot for not keeping this car? I think I am, and I'm actually already kicking myself now for not keeping it. But I've got to weigh up. I don't have the space. Like I've said, now I've got to deal with the ZX and the ML at the door, as well as the Altia and the van and the caravan on my drive. Got to keep things sensible, and I've got to keep things sensible. I can't have a 3-door car, and I can't have saloons. They've got to be 5-door, estate, hatchbacks, and that's just as simple as it goes, unfortunately. At the moment, with the way my life is, we've got a lot of I'm just going to knock the car off. I've got a lot of caravanning trips booked. I'm going to spend most of my free time there, and then obviously in my other free time, it'll be going to car shows with Chris and the ZX. I would love to take this along, and it is an absolute beast to drive. I swear to God, when you floor that thing and it does the old kick down, wow, I'm telling you, wow. I have missed having a turbo Saab. My last one was a 9.3 2.3 low pressure turbo. That mustn't have been running properly. And the other one was a Saab 9000 with the high pressure turbo anniversary, and that thing was a beast. And this isn't quite far off, to be quite honest. So what do you guys think? Would any of you guys like to have bought it? Unfortunately, it went like that. It hasn't quite gone yet. It's got to go. That's why I'm getting this video in. You probably might not see it again on the channel. I'm actually waiting now to go out with the family. Holly's waiting at home, so I'm going to go now. But let us know what your thoughts are. I thought I had to get a video in of this. So I'll catch you later. Please leave your comments below. If you like it, hit the like. If you don't like it, hit the like to support the channel. And if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge. You want to say goodbye, Charlie? Wait a minute. Want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye. Catch you on the next video.